our offensive coordinator. Eli, why don't you begin with the opening question?
Coach, just with your brother taking the Saints job this offseason, and how real was any NFL interest? Is that something you thought about this offseason at all?
I think we've always supported each other throughout our careers, and just really excited for him for this opportunity and going to the Super Bowl. Awesome job finishing, and then taking on the next challenge. So no, just really supportive of his opportunity.
He said kind of in the Super Bowl media sessions that you would make a good offensive coordinator in the NFL one day. Is that somewhere that you would think about your career path leading? Is that something
I really don't. I really
future?
enjoy the college game and working with the student athlete and kind of a well-rounded, working with 18 to 22-year-olds. Really enjoy it.
Kirby, what have your impressions been of the two quarterbacks, Bo and Matt?
Done a nice job. I think constantly learning. That's really the goal of this spring ball, right? Is individual player development, building the DNA of our offense, and then figuring out what our guys do well. From a quarterback standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, hey, should we be in 11 personnel, 10 personnel? We have two backs we need to get on the field, and that's something we're constantly working through.
On that note, how do you think Sam and Drew have done leadership-wise, especially bringing those guys into the quarterback group?
They've been very supportive. Everyone's embracing each other when they're taking the reps. They're right behind them, taking it. They come off. Hey, what'd you see there? What do you think about this? In the meeting room, they're working together, watching film extra, right, on Sundays, which is an off day for us. Hey, they're texting me, Drew, Sam, Bo, hey, can we all watch film together, which is really cool.
Coach, last year you guys had 8 starters returning. I think this year it's the opposite. So what's the biggest challenge in all of that?
Just starting with the foundation, right, making sure we got building blocks throughout the winter. We do spring ball a little bit earlier, which is really good. I think we'll go on spring break here in a week and kind of look at everything holistically, what we're doing, formations, how we're calling stuff, conceptually what's really good for us, and then kind of make some of those changes throughout the spring period. And then now with the access in the summer, that's really beneficial for us.
Early impressions of Bo, just kind of where do you think the strengths of his game are? Where are some things that you would like to see him take a step over the next, I guess, 5 months, 6 months?
Does a really good job taking care of the football. I think right now very, very minimal on the turnover standpoint. Has found the plays right when they present themselves, and then extended plays when those times have arose.
How would you evaluate Sam's recovery process and his progression this spring camp?
Yeah, the bowl prep was really cool for him to get out there, hey, get some 7-on-7 reps. So then that transition here into the spring I don't think was as drastic, and he's taken it head on, done a really good job, right? Going with different groups, 7-on-7 team, and very similar to Bo's, done a great job taking care of the football. The defense that we're going against, the front 7, they are very, very good, and that's making us better.
With Bo, how do you evaluate his mobility, and just in this system specifically, how important is it to have that as quarterback?
It's definitely a benefit, right? I think I've seen that firsthand, right, the last 2 years being with Brady. And all of our guys have been able to extend plays, be a part of the run game, be a +1 team at times. And that's something in this conference you got to be able to do when you need it.
With Kevin Coleman, what do you see as kind of the possibility for how you use him this fall?
Really good route runner, really good yards after catch. Obviously, he's done it under the lights in the SEC, and he's got some leadership to him. He's with the younger guys, right on the jugs. I'll be working out during lunch. He's on the jugs after hours, doing all those things, which is really awesome.
What are you seeing so far from this running back room, and kind of how do you envision the workload? Kind of one lead back, or more of a distribution of touches?
Working through that process, those guys have been very eager, right? We're mixing up the groups. You look at Ahmad and Marquise, and their physicality between the tackles has shown up. Really good ball security, yards after catch. Our defense, we just had a huge blitz pickup opportunity, so they're able to work through some of those things, good and bad, and learn from them.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Donovan, Henry, and you kind of already just mentioned Marquise so far?
Yeah, one at a time there. Okay, so bear with me. So Donovan, very advanced from a receiver standpoint. I think at this stage in his career, he is got really strong hands, able to separate, make contested catches, which from my experience in this conference, you have to be able to do that. The separation isn't maybe as drastic as some other conferences, so he's made some very impressive catches. What was your next one there?
Henry.
Yeah, Henry, thrown into the fire. I mean, playing guard, playing tackle, playing center, mix of positions there, and he's done a nice job being physical, different run schemes that we're doing, zone, gap, and definitely there's some trial and error there going against some older guys.
Continue with that offensive line. Overall, have you been pleased with the group's progress so far in the spring? And how far along do you think you are in the process of kind of finding that right mix of the 5 guys?
Yeah, I think we're farther along than we anticipated at this stage with breaking in quite a few new guys. Mentioned the front 7 has definitely some challenges, so it's been that balance of, hey, what's really beneficial for us to move the ball versus our defense, and then what are things that we have to work on from a, hey, play action, 7-man protection, 6-man protection, and 5-man getting the ball out of your hand.
Is there anybody, for example, quarterback, wide receiver, or just 2 linemen, next to each other, where you've noticed like a particular connection this spring?
Yeah, that's a good question. Dom's taking a lot of reps at center with Caden Green there at left guard. I think from the experience that those guys have, the physicality, they've done a nice job moving guys off the point with some of the interior run schemes.
Jamal, just what do you make of the opportunities he got last season? What do you think that next step is for him?
Yeah, he's definitely in the mix with all those guys. Last year, really embraced that 3rd down back, 2-minute back, blitz pickup. You look at the Auburn game, had some huge pickups within the last drive there, and then punched in the inside zone there on the touchdown. So he's just an unbelievable teammate, embracing his role, and we'll figure out those roles as we progress into fall camp.
Something I think we kind of saw towards the end zone a lot the last couple of years is, kind of that Luther coming across the fake and Brady runs it in. Do you see that as something that was specific to those 2 guys, or something that'll kind of stay in the playbook and you look for some new guys to kind of continue that?
Yeah, I would say things you do well, you always want to keep in the arsenal, right? And when those times arise, we'll figure out our personnel, how we play within the red zone, who are guys who we're getting the football to, or we want to use from a lot of attention right on Luther Burden when we got in the red zone, which created some opportunities for Brady Cook in the red area.
Anything else for Coach?
Is there any veteran camp standouts that they've been here a couple of years, but we may not talk about them as much, but they're standing out now?
Yeah, the one guy who I think always goes under the radar a little bit, and it's probably his personality, is Josh Manning, right? You just take for granted the consistency, the blocking on the perimeter, there's no alignment issues, making contested catches, leadership. He's kind of embraced his role right now within that receiver corps.
How is that trio of Marquise and Josh and now Kevin starting to come along and gel together, I guess?
Yeah, they definitely a mix of receiver traits right there, right? You got Kevin, who's a little bit on the shorter side, but very good short area quickness, yards after catch. Marquise taking the top off, and then Josh Manning from a physicality, high point standpoint. And so we're going to figure out where those guys fit within schemes, move them around, and I think that's going to be beneficial to their game.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.